in Into the Invest podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Johnny Invest. Please smack that subscribe button, subscribe to Invest Universal, and be notified every time we drop dope, banging content. I'm in here on Easter Sunday with my guy. I've seen this guy moving around the city for quite a bit. I've seen him a time or two in person. The man owns not one, not two, not three, I think maybe four, maybe in a fifth barbershop in the Sacramento area. Just seeing the way he works with his team, he pushes team building, family. This guy is an entrepreneur, definitely has a growth mindset. I want to take about 30 to 40 minutes, man, to really talk to this guy about what he's doing, his concepts. I remember when I first walked into his barbershop the first time, I seen this everything branded. I fell in love with it. Me being a marketing guy, I seen that. I totally loved it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can get him onto the Invest podcast. Shot the man a DM. He responded to me, said he was happy to come on. I was super ecstatic. I want to welcome from Dorian's Barbershop owner, Dorian, onto the Invest podcast. Dorian, brother, how you doing today on this Easter Sunday? I'm blessed for you even taking the time to be able to sit with us today.
I'm doing great, blessed, happy to be here.
Awesome, Dorian. So before we get started, I always kind of start the podcast off kind of with the basic. Can you just introduce yourself to our listeners, our viewers, kind of tell them a little bit about where Dorian is from, and then we'll get into it, brother.
Hey, my name's Dorian, last name Florence. I'm actually from the West Indies. I was born in Dominica in the West Indies.
I didn't know that.
Yep, lived in New York for a while.
Okay.
Was in the Air Force. Got out the Air Force and stayed in Sacramento. I started cutting hair when I was about, I'd say 13 years old. Just kind of fell in love with going in the barbershop and hanging out, and I just kind of felt like that was something that I always wanted to do. Even doing everything else that I do. I'm actually an X-ray tech by trade. I've been an X-ray tech for 39 years.
I didn't know that about you. You're an X-ray tech?
Yes, I'm an X-ray tech.
Wow.
I work for Kaiser Permanente. Been there for 25 plus years, but yes. But my passion is really, my barbershop. I mean, it's something that I build and something that I like to see people grow in.
So you had the barbershops going while the time you're still working your day job at Kaiser as an X-ray technician?
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I actually work at nighttime.
I didn't know that, seeing this guy, I didn't know he actually had another job as an X-ray tech at Kaiser Permanente. That's dope, man. You at the one on Bruceville?
On Bruceville, yes.
Okay.
Right down the street from the barbershop.
Aren't you going there to get a physical or something like that the next day? Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Dope, man.
So this is really, what got me able to, I was working night shift and I actually went to barber school in the daytime. So that I used to take the bus to barber school so that I wouldn't fall asleep.
Damn.
And, I started there at Moeller back in...
Moeller Barber College.
Yep, back in 1993.
I used to go there and get, with my stepfather and get haircuts back then. You get a little ticket. It was like $4.50 or something.
Exactly.
Maybe there was one that was downtown. Were you in that one? Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I got my license from,
That's an interesting story, man, and we got just more to unpack. So not only trajectory, I would have just thought, okay, you were somebody that went barber in a shop and just decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and open up Dorian's Barbershop. I didn't know that you were working like a full-time job and a great career already, and you decided to go out and chase your passion of barbering, owning barbershops. I mean, how was that, though? Because you were working full-time and you were going to school, man. That's not really easy. I mean, explain that to me, just that mindset.
Well, I mean, nothing in life is easy if you want it.
Yeah.
You just put in the time and the effort. I was actually, my first barbershop I put in my garage.
Okay.
And I was still working, my job, but I decided that, I'm going to try, something different. I put a barbershop in my garage and it started getting really busy.
Yeah, okay.
So that's when I said, okay, it's time to actually go out in public and put a shop there. So I went to barber school and got a license. And what I did while I was in barber school, every day after barber school, I used to put my tips in a bank account.
Oh, okay.
So I actually...
So you saved all your tips?
I saved all my tips. So by the day that I graduated, I opened up my barbershop the next day.
Wow.
With the tips that I saved up over the 7 to 8 months. I bought my chairs and got a space.
So you went from graduating, but you already had the plan in place already. I'm finna own a barbershop, and took the tips and went ahead and did that.
Yeah. I went to barber school with a plan.
Already with a plan.
Yeah. I decided where I was going to open up a barbershop and when I was going to do it, and I just saved up and had already talked to the people that was going to lease me the space.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just a matter of putting in the time and the effort. And I opened up my first barbershop. I opened up was just a 2-man shop.
Okay.
You know, and
where were you at? Where were you at? What area?
I was on Florin Road.
Okay.
I was at the incubator on Florin Road.
Okay.
They had
Okay.
a business incubator there.
Okay.
I got a 400 square foot space.
Oof.
You know, really small.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I was me and one other barber, and we just went at it. Next thing you know, within 6 months, I had 8 barbers working in there.
We talk about coming from humble beginnings. That's why I like to, do these podcasts, because, you'll see people on social media, you'll see people out and about and doing things, but you really don't have any idea of really how they got their start, or really any idea of really how was their struggle. Because, people will see you now, but, oh man, Dorian has a bunch of shops, he's doing it, I want to be like this guy. But the work ethic though, the dedication though, the discipline to be able to really stay the course to that, because you could have easily set your goal and you could have easily veered off of that. Let's talk about just the importance of when you want to get something, achieve something that's really good. Let's talk about the importance of just being dialed in, having the discipline and that laser focus, man. Just hearing your story, man, it took some discipline to be getting to where you are.
Well, of course, because when I decided to open up a barbershop, the first thing I did was go seek some help from like the Black Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, second one, Black Chamber.
Yeah. So basically, the guy just looked at me and says, "We can't do nothing for you because your barbershop won't make it."
Wow.
He said that most barbershops fail.
They do.
So that really, really gave me motivation.
That didn't deter you one bit.
Not
You
at
didn't think because statistically the cards are stacked against you?
Yeah, not at all. It just actually fueled me.
Hell yeah.
Because I said, okay, I'm going to show you.
Okay.
And back in those days, you never get any money from any bank to start any business.
Right.
Especially when you don't have a track.
Yeah.
So like I said, I used that money that I had, and I opened up the shop. And, like I said, 6 months later, I had 8 barbers working in that shop. And the very same person that told me that I would never make it come walking into my shop for a haircut.
Now that had to be surreal.
Oh, it was surreal, because I told him, I said, just like I wouldn't make it, we don't have enough barbers here to cut your hair.
Wow.
Because I always believe, my thing is the way you treat people
Yes.
is what you get in return.
Right.
So I've always been the one I'll open my door for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come in, but when you come into my house,
Yeah.
we're going to develop a relationship so
Right,
that
right.
even if you leave, hopefully we'll still be friends or business, associates, whatever it might be, so that, we keep everything above board and we understand each other. So, like I said, so after I was told no, I said, okay, I'll show you. So my barbershop went from, that 400 square foot space to a 800 square foot space, and that became too small after about 4 years.
Wow.
I ended up moving to another space on Florida Road that was 3,000 square feet.
Oh my God.
So, and in that space I had 16 people working.
Yeah.
And we're talking in the days where barbering wasn't what it is now.
Right.
Barbering wasn't on social media then.
No, there was no Instagram and stuff like that.
No, it was hitting the pavement and sharing your story with everybody face to face, which is still the way I like to do business, but it's like today it's so much easier because of social media. People can get the word out.
Yeah,
but
it's different.
Very different. Very, very different.
Wow. That's a story right there, and then having the guy walking into it. I have this kind of like this mythology that and DJ Khaled said on Instagram, I was watching something yesterday, is I don't sleep on anybody. I give everybody a shot. You never really know, who's going to become what. When I see someone with goals and dreams, I'm for it, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is giving everybody a shot. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing while I'm opening up all these shops.
Do you feel, just not to interrupt you, man, do you feel like, I mean, you probably already had it in you, but do you feel like since, when you were first trying to get started, just having the door shut on you and you having, you being shut down, is that kind of go into a little bit of why you're the guy that you want to give people a shot because you do know how it feels not to be given one?
Oh yeah, because like I said, even when I was trying to expand, you have landlords that tell you no, they're not going to rent you their space because it's for the same reason. Barbershops don't make it. You know what I mean? So when you get that chance from the people, then you make the most of it. And I've always made the most of every space that I've gotten or moved to. I mean, there've been hard times like any other business. You're going to go through hard times. This is one thing that people don't understand when they open a business. When people open a business, people on the other side just automatically think, oh, they got money because they got a business.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, huh?
Not at all. Because after you put that investment in, you need time to recover those funds.
It takes time to make it back. They probably see, oh man, he's all got the barbershop and driving the Tesla. That's big bank, big pockets, but they don't know what it took to get that started.
Exactly.
And they don't know how long it's actually going to take you to start actually turning a profit from that. They just see what you actually have, but don't know, what's actually going on behind the scenes. So one thing that I know is when you first start a business and you get going, you should pretty much be prepared. Maybe in the beginning, maybe not to make a lot of money up front as far as big profits and stuff like that. Is that kind of right for a lot of businesses getting started? Kind of talk about that, because sometimes people have a little bit of a misconception about that. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start a nail shop, a barber shop. I'm just going to be balling, within 6 months. But that's not always the case, right?
That's never the case.
Okay, never.
I mean, because the first thing you have to do is you have to have a plan.
Okay.
You have to figure out how long it may take you to recover the funds.
Okay.
First, you have to have a budget. You must have a budget to know, what you can put together.
Yeah.
What you can purchase. So, like I said, I started small. I started with 2 chairs. It cost me about $400 to put together my first shop.
Okay.
Because back in those days, I could buy a chair for $75.
Yeah, it was different.
You know what I mean? So, now, my last shop that I just put together, DBS 5 in Elk Grove, has 20 stations.
Boy, seeing on Instagram, it's massive.
Yeah. So, that's a $70,000 project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to know how to budget, where you're going to get things from, And I'll tell you, to this day, I've never borrowed a cent from the bank.
Damn. You self-funded, huh?
Yep. Never
Wow.
borrowed a cent from the bank because
I would have never known that.
Yeah, because I figure, if it's not necessary for me to put myself in debt, why do it?
Why do it?
People borrow money just because they can.
Yeah.
But I have no reason to pay somebody 19% on something that I don't need to.
Yes, I hear all the time, get a loan. I mean, sometimes maybe you do, but people get a loan first, so get a loan.
Yeah, and that's expensive.
Yeah.
Even like during the pandemic when the government was giving out that $25,000, they wasn't given that $25,000.
It wasn't given that, huh?
A lot of people now are struggling to pay that money back.
Yeah, those loans, huh?
Yeah, those were loans.
Not realizing, because they were telling them that it can be forgiven, or part of it was forgiven, and
exactly.
Come to find out that maybe it really wasn't, and people are kind of hurting, taking all that free money now. It was a free-for-all at the time, though, right?
Exactly, and that's something I stayed away from. Because, you have to be smart. You have to know that, when you incur debt, you have to pay it back.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that way. They just think that you borrow, and then if you need more, you borrow more. But that's just not a smart way to do business. I've never done business in that way. If I can't buy it,
okay,
I don't get it.
You think definitely outside the box from what is the traditional person, because the traditional person does and has incurred a lot of debt,
yeah.
And especially when they're going into business.
Right.
Therefore, if the business doesn't work out, they still gotta pay that money back.
Yeah, because I've always believed, if I want to be the one making the decisions about my business, I can't have somebody on my back.
Okay.
So which means I can't have a partner and I can't have a bank telling me when I need to pay them back. I can control when I can pay myself back.
100% the boss, 100% in control, so it's 100% the way you want to do it, it's 100% your vision.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that no one can tell me I don't like that.
Yeah.
No, if I like it, it's good enough.
So let's get into this though, because like this is the thing that for me, like I've been to different barbershops like over the years and things like that. I go into places, but when I walk into your establishment, it's Dorian. Everything's branded. The aprons, you know, the T-shirts that the barbers are wearing, and it just look. I don't know. They look happy, just rocking and just wearing your stuff. But where did the idea come just to have it be the franchise? I mean, I go to different barbershops. There's one barbershop. There's two barbershops under the same name. I mean, this is becoming like kind of like a conglomerate type of thing. I mean, what's the long-term vision? I mean, how many shops? I mean,
well,
and how do you work with it? And then to mention too, like, how do you do it? Because like you got a bunch of shops, you got a bunch of different individuals working in the shop, different personalities. How do you balance your time? You drop around each one. You have your manager in each one. I mean, what's the structure of Dorian's barbershops?
Well, I mean, basically, I set up the shops where they can pretty much run themselves.
Okay.
So what I do is when I set up a shop is I put everything in the shop that a barber would need.
Okay.
Since I am a barber.
Yeah, he would know.
So I put everything. The only thing you need to bring to work is your tools.
Your tools.
You know, and I ask two simple things. You keep it professional and you keep my place clean. You respect the place because, as you can see, you know, from yourself walking in there, I basically put everything in there.
Yeah.
So my vision is DBS is going to be a franchise, just like Supercuts.
Yeah.
You know, so my thing is I want to be where every Supercuts could have been.
Yeah.
Except my service is way different.
Way different.
You know what I mean? So when people come in, they can actually get what they want and feel, you know, comfortable in a nice business environment. Because in too many barbershops, you know, you walk in and it's too much of a gathering.
Yeah.
More than a business.
It is.
So when you walk into my barbershop, I want you to be able to identify who works there.
Yeah, you see walking up, but I mean, I've been to different barbershops in my life, and I see walking in, I see guys shooting dice. I mean, I don't know who's the barber. Hey, a haircut? I don't know who's the barber. They're not dressed in. I don't even know. When I walk into your shop, I pretty much know who's barbering.
Exactly, and that's the idea among all my barbershops, because I tell my barbers one simple thing. Being a barber today is very lucrative. Okay. I mean, you're making $40, $50 a haircut.
Yeah, I've seen you post some statistics and stuff on social media.
Exactly. So, you know, and if you went to work for McDonald's, you're making minimum wage.
No matter
what.
But
what's the first thing McDonald's does? They give you a T-shirt and tell you wear that 8 hours a day, every day you work here.
Yeah.
And you're making peanuts.
Peanuts.
So why wouldn't you wear what I provide for you when you can make real money?
Yeah. The opportunity.
Exactly. So that's what I tell them. You know, being a barber has some independence to it, but when you walk into the shop and it says Dorian's Barber Studio, you're working for Dorian's Barber Studio. You understand what I'm saying? You're independent barber, but you're working for Dorian's Barber Studio.
Yeah.
Because until you're out from under that name, you're working for Dorian's Barber Studio. I mean, you are who you are, but it's still, everybody's gonna, when they leave a review on Yelp or Google, they mention Dorian's Barber Studio. They say don't go there or go
right,
there.
because the environment.
Exactly.
So when you bring them on, you kind of have your guidelines, kind of your framework. It kind of be, I call it, because I work in management, a code of conduct.
Exactly.
Of the things they need to abide by. So that way you can make sure that they're abiding by Dorian vision, because even though they're an independent barber, they're working in your barbershop, they represent you.
Exactly.
So if you got, people in there and it's being ran kind of unprofessional and crazy, and I see you're the owner, I'm looking at you as if, you are allowing that.
Exactly. And that's what we can't have, because,
want people to come back.
Exactly. You will have, and it doesn't really matter how many people you have working in there. You have one bad apple, it could spoil the whole bunch. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of manage that too. I mean, it's like you asked, how do you get all these people to get along? Well, I have almost 70 barbers working.
Yeah.
So, and it's, like you said, it's 4 different locations. So I'm driving, I have one in West Side.
Yeah, one in Antelope.
One in Antelope, you know what I mean? And now one on, 2 in Elk Grove. So yeah, so I put in some miles, but, it's not every day I get to go there.
Yeah.
But I still see what's going on in my shop because I have cameras in the shop.
Right.
So I can manage from that, perspective. But my vision for every shop is the same. If I send a group message to one shop, I send the same group message to the other. because I want everything to be consistent.
Right, it should be.
You know, so wherever you go work at Dorian Barber Studio, it's not different from the one somewhere else. You know, I try to set up the shops pretty much all the same, except for the last one. But, you know, because now I have a different vision.
Okay.
You know, I have a different vision now of how I want my shops to look and what I'm putting in there.
Okay.
Because my goal is to basically, if there's a barbershop in your area, I want it to say Dorian Barber Studio.
Wow.
I really don't care how many barbershops I have to put on the same street.
Damn.
But if you're going to go get your haircut, I want it to be at Dorian Barber Studio.
I'll be real with you, man. Your name is getting out there because I actually was talking to a training client of mine. She has a son that's a barber, heard of Dorian Barbershop. At another barbershop I went to, a Gentleman's Cutlery downtown, they heard of Dorian Barbershop. My cousin, they heard of Dorian Barbershop. So definitely, man, the vision is definitely getting out there. And let's just talk a little bit about, do you think that your experience, you said you were in the military at some point,
Yes.
right? Do you feel like that your background in the military and just having that discipline has helped and allows you to be able to kind of come in and help to kind of manage your team and kind of team build? I see you do a lot of different like events and things like that. You know, with your team, I've seen the bowling. I've seen you trying to really promote that camaraderie. But I think it takes a really a good leader to really see the importance and the value of camaraderie, not just the money and the dollars that you can make. Do you think your background has kind of helped you to be, because like you can be a certain kind of person, and I know people that own business, I know people that own some barbershops, but the barbershops, they run a little wild.
Right. And yeah, I mean, definitely, because, you know, when I was in the military, I mean, everything's structured.
Yes.
So to this day, I still show up at the barber shop at 7 o'clock on Saturday. I've been doing that now for 29 years. Damn. And I have clients who still show up at the barber shop at 7 o'clock on Saturday.
Wow.
And expect me to be there.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you instill this in you, that's just straight discipline. You know, I mean, who wants to be up at 7 in the morning?
Nobody.
Exactly. So I've done that, and my clients understand that's what I do. So they still come to the barbershop Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, 7:30, get their haircuts. You know, I'm in the shop at 7 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock, I've done a full day's work, and now, you know, younger barbers are walking in the shop, waking up at 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, they've been out all night. They getting up at 9, 10 o'clock.
You know, and what they fail to realize is, if you were in that shop at 7 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock, you could leave at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
And have done your full day, and now you have the whole rest of the day.
You got to cut till 6 or 7.
Instead of now you come at 11 and you're there 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot that, you know, I wish the young barbers would.
Yeah.
I have some barbers now, I think that they've been seeing me in the shop that early, and I noticed something just this past Saturday.
Okay.
5 of them walked in there before 8 o'clock.
Nice.
You know, so it kind of, you know, just said, okay, well, maybe they're paying attention.
Contagious.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what I want my barbers to do. I really want them to pay attention to some of the things that I do.
Yeah.
Because I always tell them, someday you're going to own your own shop.
Right. You're going to
You know
be coming in at 11 o'clock as the owner?
Yeah, exactly. Someday you're going to own your own shop. I want you to own your own shop.
Yeah.
But you have to know that, you know, there's certain things you have to do when you're a shop owner. You know, you have to lead by example.
So you're giving them some coaching in there as
You
well.
know, and that's, I try my very best. You know, I always say I don't manage people.
Okay.
I manage my business.
The business. They're in the business, though.
Exactly. So if they're in the business and they see how I'm managing the business, then it kind of gives them an idea of how to move.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if they can understand that, they'll all be successful.
That's dope because, you know, say you got some of these barbers are young, 22, 23 years old, and then being able to learn from you kind of setting the framework of how it can kind of be done, you know, if they choose to in a positive way. I don't cut hair, but I know if I was in there and I was under your tutelage, man, I would definitely be looking at a lot of the things that you're doing because you're kind of giving them the game, I guess I would say. You're giving them the book, you know. The game is sold not to be told, but you're actually helping these young men, ladies actually develop if they do want to take that there to the next level. But one thing they'll have to have is, business owner has to have, is you have to have that good Discipline.
Yeah, you have to have discipline because, things are not always going to go right. But if you have a plan and you stick to it, you don't change with every other person.
Yeah, people tend to do that.
People always want to be treated a little different. Yeah, I can treat you different, but under the same framework.
Yeah.
I might talk to you different than someone else. For example, I have a 16-year-old
Okay.
in my West Sac shop.
Okay.
He's been there a year.
Apprentice?
Apprentice.
Okay.
Exactly. So he's an apprentice. He's still in high school, comes after school,
Okay.
and works on the weekends.
Okay.
This young kid will never need a job from anywhere else when he gets out of high school. Because right now, he is fully booked every day.
At 16 years old?
At 16 years old. Wow. I have another one in the shop that you come to.
Okay.
He's been an apprentice his whole senior year of high school.
Wow.
He's working at Dorian Barber Studio, booked every day.
Wow.
Now, when I say booked every day, it means that you have a client every hour.
Every hour.
Which means that at $45 an hour, you're making a pretty good living.
That's pretty good money.
I know people with bachelor's degrees that don't make $45 an hour.
That's 45 an hour, plus you might get some tips in there.
Exactly. Plus your tips. So that's why I'm trying to get barbers to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because I see too many barbers that actually go to barber school.
Yeah.
And they get out of barber school and go get a job at McDonald's.
Yes.
Why did you waste the whole year of your life?
Straight up, and save the time and the money.
Save the time and the money. If that's what you want to be, a minimum wage worker, why did you spend money to go to school?
Yeah.
So what these barbers don't understand in the barber world, you have to put the time in for you to see results. See, this is the thing with people today. We live in such a microwave society that they think everything is now.
We got everything right now on our phone.
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok,
Exactly.
we're seeing all that.
Yeah, so, they get out of barber school, they put a post on Instagram, and they expect to go sit in the barber shop and be busy all day. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? You have to be in the shop. But yes, you also have to promote yourself. I always tell people, there's no better way than to get a customer than face to face.
Yes.
You walk up, I said, just say hi to people when you walk by them.
Yeah.
I said, you'd be surprised how much that means to them in their day. They might be having a bad day.
Yeah.
And you say hi to them, and they're wondering why you say hi to them. Just say, hi, how you doing today?
You know how contagious that is? How you can make that person feel by you just say, hey, how you doing today?
Exactly.
Even myself, I've had days when my day is, for what reason, it's not going the grace, and just a stranger said hi to me. It just made my day, like, man, I forgot what I was even tripping off of. The fact, and I try to do that to people too. I try to introduce myself and say hi to just as many people, as that seem like friendly. So yeah, that's the thing too, because I've actually ran into some people that went to barber college, and there's about a few of them now. They're no longer cutting hair, and I was always wondering. I'm like, why? And some of them were actually pretty good barbers. So I was wondering, damn, okay, this barber went to school, and that barber went to school, okay, but this barber, he's cutting 15 heads a day.
Right.
But this guy, he's cutting a head or two a day. But he looks like he has a very similar skill set. And you being a guy that's been doing this for so many years, let's kick some game to these young barbers, these young aspiring barbers. Do they just go to barber college and they look at the money and they think, because I can cut hair, I'm good, I'm just going to make money? Because there's a lot of barbers that's good. Or maybe they think the stuff don't stink, or is it arrogance, or is it just not an understanding of the work it actually takes to truly build the business? Because it's even like being a real estate agent. You can go to real estate school, but you still got to build the business.
Right. So let me tell you the whole misconception of this whole thing.
Okay.
This is where barbers fail.
Okay.
They think it's about a haircut.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. I have an apprentice in my barbershop in Antelope. When he came to me, he says, boss, Indian cap.
Okay.
I don't know how to cut hair. I said, I don't care. He goes, what? I says, because what I can teach you is how to cut hair, but I can't teach you to be a good person.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is the friendliest, most accommodating guy you will ever meet.
Service.
He is absolutely my busiest barber in every single one of my shops.
Yep.
He works 7 days a week. He is booked from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at nighttime. couldn't cut hair a lick. Been in the shop 6 months, cuts hair way better now, and has more customers than anybody else. It was never about the haircut.
Yeah.
I told them, if you learn how to speak to people, ask them about their families, care about how they feel when they come in the shop, because all a barber really is just a psychologist.
Right. Yeah.
And trust me, people love to tell their barbers their problems.
Oh yeah, I've talked to a barber too.
Because they know that it's almost like a confidential thing between you and them.
Yes.
And you're going to pick off where you left off the last time if the conversation was good.
Oh yeah.
They're not even going to, they get to the point where they don't even look in the mirror anymore.
Nope.
They just sit there, talk to you, get your haircut, and they'll see you in 2 weeks,
Yep.
or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they don't care if you're the best barber in the world, as long as you give them what they want. I see too many barbers spend an hour and a half on a haircut so they could post it on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But sometimes that client just wants to come in the chair because he may be on his lunch break. He has 45 minutes.
He needs to get a haircut and get out of there.
He wants to get a haircut and get out of there. He could care less about your Instagram post.
Yeah.
So that's when you have to know who your customer is,
Right.
and what they want.
Yeah.
You'll make a whole lot more money doing simple haircuts than you will Instagram haircuts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Because I'm to the point where I can cut 4 heads in an hour.
Damn.
And you will cut 1 head. And I'm charging the same price.
That's 4 heads times 1. That's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty efficient there.
Because I'm not trying to take every single picture and put it on Instagram. Matter of fact, I never promote my haircuts. I never even promote me. If you see my Instagram and you've been in my shop,
Yeah.
the only thing I promote is my shop.
Yeah, I never really saw you until I saw you in person. I didn't even know what you looked like. I just seen your shop, I seen the chairs, I seen the location. I didn't even know Dorian was like a real person. I was asking people, like, who is this? You know, I seen the shop because it was next to a gym I used to go to. I'm like, who's Dorian? You know, is it just a name? Or, oh, yeah, he's, you know, okay, and asking people about you. I kept seeing I never knew what you looked like.
Yeah, there's many people that say that to me every time they meet me. They never thought, I was actually a real person. They thought it was just a name.
Yeah.
So, but that's just kind of how I move.
Yeah, yeah.
I move for Dorian Barber Studio. Everything I do is about Dorian Barber Studio. I wear Dorian Barber Studio's t-shirt every day of the week.
Right, yeah.
You know, I send people to Dorian's Barber Studio. I don't send people to see Dorian.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't even accept any new clients at all.
Yeah.
You know, I cut the same people whose hair I've been cutting for a while. But my goal is to make sure that everyone in the shop is doing well.
Yes.
Because if they're doing well, I'm doing well.
You're doing well.
And then we're all happy.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody next to you.
Exactly. So we don't in Dorian Barber Studio, the one thing we don't do is fight over haircuts.
Oh yeah, I see that. I've seen that at some places I've went to.
Yeah, because most of the time in my shops when you walk in, it's so busy.
Yeah.
Most of the guys don't have time to take a walk in, but that's why we spread it around. And the one interesting thing, people always ask me, how do you get 16 people to work together? Or 20 people to work together?
Yeah.
You know why? I've never asked a single person to come work for me. I have never walked up to a barber and said, hey, you should come work in my shop.
Okay.
Never. I say, hey, I'm Dorian.
Yeah.
I own a barber shop. That's it. You're a barber. If you want to come work for me, you'll ask me or you'll tell me about it.
Wow.
Because I let my shop reputation speak for itself.
Okay.
I don't ever want one barber to feel like he's more important than another.
Right. Yep.
Then you're not part of the team.
Yeah. Team.
So if you're not part of the team and you feel like you're better or that you'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what they do. And they go somewhere else and then somewhere else and then somewhere else.
They keep going somewhere else because of the attitude and that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I'm in management where I work, and I'm really big on just treating everybody pretty much the same. No superstars. We're all the same. We're all here. But as soon as you start to let that intrude, as soon as you start to let that in the door, it's hard to get it out.
Exactly.
So we just kicked some game about kind of the framework of barbering, kind of like the secrets, the thing that these young barbers need to follow. And you're right, man. It's just like the bartender who holds the best conversation with the guest probably makes the most tips, right? It becomes not even about the drink anymore, right?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, you give somebody that service that they just absolutely love, they don't care. When I tell you they don't care about that haircut, after a while, it's just because they figure you wouldn't be cutting my hair if I didn't like what you were doing.
This is Barber Marketing 101 for you cats out there in the barber world, or the ones that are getting into barber. Remember, it's about service, customer service, listening to your client, understanding your needs a lot more than it is about the actual haircut. Say hi to somebody. Crack a smile at somebody. It's going to take you so much further. I'll be real with you. If I have a choice to go get my hair cut by a person that has a good personality, someone I can chop it up with, just a little bit, I see them greet me, professionally, I'm coming back. Over the guy, and you might just cut hair really good, but it's about service, guys. So a lot of you guys, man, got to really understand that. The one that's going to barber school right now, Dorian's giving you game. It's service. Dorian, man, before I get you out here, man, how does it feel to be, it seems like you're living in your purpose, man. You're chasing your dream of just having Dorian Barbershop become this big, huge thing, which is already becoming. I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to grow. Like I said, man, he's opening another one. I was like, man, I see this dude out here doing it, man. And you was motivating and inspiring me to continue to do the things that I'm already doing, just out there, just reaching for it, man. And I love it. I'm glad you was able to come on the show, man. But let's talk a little bit, Dorian, about the importance of people living in their purpose, as you are living in yours and me living in mine, in your own words.
Well, I mean, the thing is, never let somebody steal your dreams, okay? So anything that I'm doing or plan to do, I keep to myself.
Okay.
Because people will try to interfere with
you don't really come out and just talk about, hey, I'm about to, you didn't really tell a lot of people your goal to open up multiple barbershops. You didn't really put that out there?
I never do. Because my situation comes up where if I see an opportunity, then I take advantage of it. I'm always, once I'm doing a project, I'm already thinking about the next one.
Okay.
Because every time I'm doing a project, I'm learning something.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, next time I do this, I'm going to do so and so. But I always am looking for an opportunity. But there's no need to tell anybody else.
Okay.
You might have a significant other that you tell that to,
it's
you discuss that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I never tell people what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, when I'm opening up a shop, nobody ever knows where it is until I actually open it.
Yeah, because I'll see on Instagram, like, this location. I was like, man, he never said it. It was already there. Right?
Exactly. So, it's because, why? I don't want people interfering in my process.
Yeah, okay.
So I when the process is done, I open it and I said, welcome. You want to come and work here? This is where we are. And that's how I do it, because like I said, I never really ask people to work for me.
Yeah.
So there's no need for me to tell anybody before I do something where it's going to be. Because I know the product that I'm going to put out, you will want to come and work there.
You know it already.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is. People always say, their plan is, to try and get the shops filled in 6 months or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And they may have a 3 or 4 month or 4 chair shop.
Yeah.
My goal is to fill my chairs in 6 days. Because I always tell people, the longer you wait, the less of an opportunity that you have.
Yeah.
It's as you can see in my barbershops, it's pretty full.
Yeah. And
people wait a long time
Yes.
to get in. So the day somebody leaves for whatever reason or may move somewhere else, there's a person in the chair the next day.
Yeah, because just the reputation, I think, and the principles that you stand on and the environment that you have fostered makes it a place that many people would want to actually be a part of.
Exactly. I want you to win.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing.
That's what it's about, man. So, Dorian, man, before I get you out here, man, if we got some listeners, you got some viewers that's looking for a nice, dope location, whether they're in West Sag, Antelope, Elk Grove, looking for a place to get a haircut, man, how do they get in touch with Dorian's Barbershop on social? They can follow you, and they can get with the barbershop, man. We got them in all spots all over the city.
Yep, you can go to Dorian'sBarberStudio.com, and you'll see all the sites on there you can book on there, or you can follow us on Instagram at Dorian's Barber Studio, and it'll give you a link to also make appointments there, and it'll tell you
Dorian, this has been dope. been awesome getting you on here, man. Kicking game to these people out here about this, man. This is free to y'all. Definitely take this in. I'm your host, the one and only Johnny Invest. Remember to smack the subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe to Invest Universal. Johnny Invest, Dorian's Barbershop. We're out.